Yeah.
Csinálszod? Nicsak, mi bújt itt?
Keci!
Nem hiszem el!
Kurva élet!
Vigyázz!
Mit keressen itt? Véletlenül kibújtál az anyám szoknyája alól? Látom őt!
Beszarás! És pont amikor mégsem lenne valakiből kivenni a lelket.
Hát, ezt elkúrtad?
Itt fogsz neked pityeregni?
Hideg!
Ha! Basz meg! Ja! Oh! Nesze! Eltaposlak, mint egy tetve!
Az isteni! Csak! Mi bújt itt elő?
Nem vagy képes többre?
Jöjjön csak, te fosod! A gányba!
That's him.
Épp elkúrtad az életed! Nesze! Geci!
Hagytam! Hallod? Állj, feladom!
Hagyd abba, feladom!
Get him.
Basszás!
To heal, mutt. Good fella. That's my boy. Look what you'll love this. Sit. There's the good doggy. That's my boy. To me. Good fella. That's my boy. Let's hunt something, eh? Hare. Heel. Look what I've got for you. You'll love this. There's the good doggy. That's my boy. Good fella. That's my boy. Sick?
Come here, lily liver.
Kunda! Insolent whelp! Ow!
What's the matter?
That's it. Come on.
Cunt!
I'll smother you!
Over here! Ow! Nice! Oh!
Good boy. That's my boy. Look what I've got for you. You'll love this. That's him. Yeah. Heel. Yeah. That's a good boy. That's my boy. Come along, free.
What's the... What's up? Do you need some help? Hey, well, I never...
Look what I've got for you. You'll love.
I hope I can be of some humble service.
So I got the game goods for you, Master Butcher.
Splendid. Let's be having it. Looks good. Here's something for your effort. I've got another order. There's demand for deer kidneys. Can you handle that?
Sure.
God be with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I have good news for you, Sir Anselm. I know who killed your friend. Who was it? It was Pecuna, a local fellow who wanders the area getting supplies for the bandits.
How did you find out?
From the dice.
All right. I'll take care of it from here.
And I owe you for helping me.
Here, Henry, take this. I'm sorry I don't have more on me. But if you're ever in Prague, come and look me up, and I'll see you're well taken care of.
It's been a pleasure, Sir Anselm. Godspeed. I'd like to ask you something else.
Ask away.
You're my daughter.
I am.
Just curious.
You could put it that way,
You must tell me all about it some other...
if you like.
That's all.
Did Fakuna leave? I've got a job for him.
He's probably gone back to his charcoal burner mates. But he'll be back soon enough, no doubt.
I've got a job for him.
He's probably gone back to his charcoal burner mates. But he'll be back soon enough, no doubt.
Why must he keep showing up here?
Should have stayed home. I gotta piss. Stink everywhere. Should have stayed home.
Did Pecuna leave?
Fucking
I've got a
weather,
job for him.
fucking tent,
Probably gone back to his
fucking
charcoal
camp.
burner mate.
I've had enough
He'll
of
be
this
back
shit.
soon enough, no doubt.
Fucking weather, fucking tent.
Did Pecuna leave? I've got a job for him.
Enough of this
He's
shit.
probably gone back to his charcoal burner mate.
God be with you.
I have some trophies.
Show me. So many. My lad, you're like the smiting right hand of God.
I've taken care of that camp.
Have you brought me proof?
Here it is.
Well, that is a fine bit of news. Some charcoal burners came here from their camp to the south. It seems there are Cumans camped there by the path, and they've been attacking folk in the area. Best go and check it out.
I understand.
Did I tell you about my wife's listening?
No.
Yeah.
Good day, Master Bailiff.
God be with you. What's the trouble?
Lame Agatha, that old crone who lives on the edge of the village.
What's she done to you?
Well, I thought you should know. She's getting mixed up in the herbwoman's trade and selling folk all kinds of ointments and potions.
What's wrong with that?
It's all a swindle and a cheat. She ought to be burned as a witch.
What do you mean, it's a swindle?
Because those mixtures of hers don't work. It's nothing but plain water with herbs and pork lard.
How do you know about it? Have you tried something from her yourself?
Me? Why would I? Well, that would be a sin, wouldn't it?
What kind of ointments and potions are you talking about?
Oh, you know, potions for an aching head, women's pains, and herbs to make cows give more milk.
Well, I suppose she did something to you, otherwise you wouldn't be here.
She X'd my hens and now they won't lay. And she put a spell on her own so they lay double.
Are you serious?
I swear by the Holy Mother of God, she put a spell on them.
I reckon the only thing that's going on here is that you're a nasty, envious creature who condemn her own neighbour over a few eggs.
What? I would never...
I'm not going to waste another minute on you.
You call that justice? Next time I'll go straight to the bishop.
My very words. The neighbours are missing 2 ends already.
Could have been a weasel.
Or that weasel of a woman. Who knows what she's like? For all anyone knows, she might be some wild woman of the woods.
Hey!
What's going on there?
Fighting at Hamburg and Branny? I have my doubts. I reckon it's not over yet.
Why wouldn't it be? Theodore was talking to one of the soldiers who fought.
So, how am I doing with the village?
Let's see. How do you think you're doing? We've already finished everything successfully. Excellent work, Henry.
I'm glad you're pleased.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey-o.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if it isn't the world-renowned victor of the rat-eye tourney, Henry of Skalitz.
I've got that necklace.
Excellent news! I'm not going to ask you how you did it. Here's a reward for you. Now you can carry on with your next task. I want you to sneak the jewellery into Carolina's trunk along with this letter.
Can't I just hand them to her?
You cannot! Under no circumstances must she find out who sent them. Otherwise the whole secret admirer ploy is fucked. Oh, and by the way, Henry, watch out for the butcher. He keeps a very close eye on his daughter, and if he catches you sniffing around, well, may all the saint preserve you. Once you've delivered the things, wait a day, and then come back and see me.
God be with you.
Good day. Good luck then.
What?
Are you looking for me? I'm glad to see you. Good luck.
people, have mercy on me. Give me something to drink. Thank you. Thank you 100-fold. You have a good heart.
Good day.
Would you teach me more about alchemy?
Certainly.
I'd like to hone my skills.
First, you have...
I'd like to practice the basics.
All right. Now, pay...
Good day, Henry.
Greetings. I delivered the things as you asked.
I already know. My spies told me everything. She was wearing the necklace this morning, as I asked in the letter.
So you'll go to the rendezvous with her?
Certainly not. I'm not going to pounce on her like a bull in rutting season. Her feelings must be allowed to mature gradually. Meanwhile, you'll get a potion for me.
I thought you didn't believe in witches' brews.
This is no witch's brew. It's an absolutely tried and tested elixir called Musk of Infinite Allure. There's a fellow in Sasau who sells it, and he guarantees its success.
Musk of Infinite Allure? Sounds irresistible. All right, I'll try and get it for you.
I'm sure I can rely on you. Here's some coin for your costs. Take care.
Wine squeezed from grapes, cultivated from a rose bush.
Well, well, who have we here?
Ah, the prodigal son returns. I knew you'd come back to me one day.
Let me guess, you saw it in a dream?
I knew you were going to say that.
But I had a divine revelation. That next time I won't be around to pull you out of the shit.
Oh, well, I am sorry. But these things are sent to try our fortitude in the face of adversity.
I'd like to try your fortitude. I've heard you know of some irresistibility potion or whatever it is.
Ah, naturally, Musk of Infinite Allure, an age-old recipe, maybe even older, tested by Moses himself.
Moses?
How do you think he managed to get his people to follow him through the desert for 40 years? It's extremely potent.
Yeah, so it would seem. How much do you want for it?
Who do you take me for? The wisdom of the ancients isn't something that's bought and sold in the marketplace. Did Jesus charge for his miracles? But since you ask, how about this much?
What? That much? You're a crook.
As King Solomon said, honesty is for those who can afford it. If you like, I can mix the elixir for you in exchange for a small favor.
Oh, not again.
Now, is that any tone to use with your master? For shame.
Apologies, Master. I was carried away by my thirst for knowledge.
I understand your impatience, but the way to wisdom is narrow and arduous.
And leads out the window. About that recipe.
Yes, you want to buy it?
Never mind.
As you wish.
So what is it you want from me now?
Ah, my dear apprentice, everything's gone to the devil. I'm living from hand to mouth, sleeping on straw, and the local peasants won't buy from me. They say they don't trust me, as if I were some kind of charlatan. Can you believe it? Does this look to you like the face of a swindler? I'm an honest trader in sacred goods, whose only concern is the welfare of troubled souls. And any time now the slanderous gossip will spread here from Sasau. I should leave before things get worse. But I can't go anywhere until I've made a bit of coin. So what's needed is to give the locals a bit of encouragement, to open their hearts and purses.
I'm not going to go around beating people for you.
What do you take me for? I wouldn't hurt a fly. Violence is for the dull-witted. We must gently demonstrate to them the necessity of buying my remedies. For example, to ward off a revenant.
Revenant? What revenant?
The dead return from the grave, a corpse that the soul is unable to depart from, which wanders among the living, filled with rage at its wretched fate.
Yeah, I saw something like that once. But it was just some drunk going home from the tavern after losing all his money at dice.
Don't make light of such things. Now tell me, do you know how to deal with a revenant?
Sprinkling poppy seeds on the grave?
That works for mares, but it would probably only provoke a revenant. You are my trained apprentice, but the ignorant villager is entirely at a loss how to deal with such dark forces. It is our sacred duty to prepare them for such threats.
And how do you propose to do that?
Well, they're all doubting Thomases. They need proof. We'll need a grave, an empty grave that we can use. There's one along the way to Sasau, but it's got one minor shortcoming.
What's that?
Well, it's not entirely empty.
Not entirely? What does that mean?
You have to dig it up first.
Why this particular grave?
The locals don't like to talk about it, so it's surely got some sinister past behind it. And in places like that, revenants sprout up like mushrooms after rain.
Well, if that's how it is, we could open old wounds. That could easily set people against us. Again.
Then it would be best if no one could connect us to it, wouldn't it?
I'll need a spade then.
Yes, dig it up and remove the remains, leaving no trace.
And what am I to do with the remains?
Keep them. Human remains are always handy to have around.
Great. And how do we spread the word of this revenant?
There's a gossip in every village. Here, too, a woman who'll spread news quicker than a dozen messengers on the fastest steeds.
Where does this woman live?
The last house on the left, on the road to Sasau. She was the first person I met here, and by the time I reached the village green, I already had a mob looking suspiciously at me. The rumor-mongering fishwife.
And what am I to tell this gossip?
All you have to do is casually mention the empty grave, and before evening, I'll wager the whole village will know about it.
And that's all?
Not quite. You should ask her who was buried there. So we've got a story to work with.
So, dig up the grave, talk to the gossip.
And the remains. Don't forget to remove them. Otherwise, no one will believe in the revenant.
I might have known any task for Capon would turn into some insane escapade. Grave robbing. Jesus.
Mandrake roots taken straight from the gallows at midnight.
You know what my old man is like? Nothing ever good enough for him. Always turning his nose up at everything I cook.
You'll think he had blue blood.
What is it?
Stop it, someone! No! All right, you win! I surrender.
You showed him. And did you get the loot back?
No, he had nothing on him.
Nothing?
Are you trying to imply something?
Not at all, sir. I'll just be on my way.
Thanks.
I'm honored that you should come to me.
Have you got a bed for the night?
Certainly. For how long?
How about if I pay you for several nights?
Sure, but let's see your coin first.
Here you go.
You'll like it here. May the Lord watch over you.
Ale as usual.
I'll bring it right away.
Mandrake roots taken straight from the gallows at midnight. And pieces of cloth all the way from the Holy Land.
God be with you, good wife.
Heavens no. It's quiet here, unlike some other places.
And what about that empty grave?
What empty grave would that be now?
The one beyond the village, alongside the road to Sasau. Just by the river, on the Pine Headland.
How would you know it's empty? Unless it was dug up.
Oh, it's dug up, all right. Freshly. And empty. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
Lord in heaven, what in the name of...
How come it's not in hallowed ground, anyway? Only unrepentant sinners are buried like that. Usually.
I don't like to say. It's an old wound that's best forgotten.
Whose grave is it?
Well, once a long time ago there was a young charcoal burner living here with his wife. There was always a lot of charcoal burners here, but this fellow worked alone. That's not an easy job for one man.
No one wanted to work with him, or what?
Oh, he was a hard-headed fellow who always wanted to take care of his family himself.
Well, I can understand that. It's always better to work for yourself than break your back for someone else.
His wife was expecting, though no one knew it yet. And he wasn't doing well at all. Soon enough, they had nothing to eat. And so he took to thieving.
Well, thieving is wrong.
Aye, but when there's a child on the way and your wife hasn't the strength to get out of bed for the hunger, well, you ought to think differently.
And did he get caught?
Well, at first it was just a few eggs going missing from people's hen coops. But then it was anything that wasn't nailed down. And in the end, they caught him.
And I suppose he was harshly punished for it.
Even then, he didn't let on why he was doing it. They whipped the skin off his back and banished him from Ledetchko.
So justice was done then?
It wasn't enough for some folk. When the butcher found out he'd never get any compensation, he wanted them to chop off the charcoal burner's hands. If the bailiff hadn't talked sense into him, he'd have done it himself with his cleaver.
Well, he got off lightly enough then.
And in the end, he got what was coming to him, and more.
The butcher caught up with him?
No. It was the mills of God turning slowly but surely. His wife bled to death in childbirth, and the child died with her.
God have mercy on their souls.
Amen.
Nothing could have been done to save them.
There was no one there. He had no one who would care for his wife. They say on that day he parted ways with God forever, and he turned his back on the village too. I reckon he never forgave himself, nor us either.
The Lord moves in mysterious ways. But how did he end up?
Don't ask me that, lad. I beg you.
Come now, good wife. You can't leave the story unfinished.
I said no. Will you let it lie?
How are you?
I know who was buried in that grave.
So begins the tragic tale of the young charcoal burner who became entangled with the devil himself.
Oh, don't start. What devil? I'm trying to tell you. Ugh. He was from Ledetchko. He was trying to eke out a living for himself and his wife, but he couldn't manage. When she fell pregnant, he took to stealing.
Pride drove him from the straight and narrow path, and soon he sold his soul to the devil to fill his stomach.
They caught him and punished him, but some of the people he'd robbed didn't think it was enough. Then when his wife died in childbirth, and the child too, he blamed everyone for it. Even God, apparently.
But when the time came to pay his debt to hell, the devil had no use for his soul, and took his wife and child instead. The charcoal burner cursed God, who struck him down in righteous vengeance. But the dead man's soul never left his body. He came back as a revenant to vent his rage at God and men and take vengeance on the living.
Jesus, did you listen to what I said at all?
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh, never mind. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, the question is, what would the revenant do to get revenge on the villagers? Well, apprentice?
The gossip mentioned the butcher. It seems he was infuriated that the charcoal burner's punishment was too lenient.
And the revenant spoiled their meat with his malign touch.
How's that?
Spoiled meat is a classic example of a revenant's power.
Huh. I thought it was the work of bad butchers.
That too, sometimes.
So, I should switch the good meat for bad at the butcher's. What about the butcher woman?
What about her?
Her conscience was troubled on account of her man, and she couldn't sleep. But I helped her, so she's found some peace.
So, no problem then.
What? I'm supposed to scare the wits out of her and start all over again?
All right, if you can find some other solution, you don't have to switch the meat. But I wouldn't worry about her. But make sure it's the same kind of meat. Not even a revenant will turn a cow into a chicken.
He cursed God. That's very serious.
What is it that most brings God to mind?
They don't have a church there. But everyone will have a rosary. I can't think of anything else.
That's it! If folks start losing their rosaries, they'll have sleepless nights over it.
You want me to steal rosaries? But that's...
Or just exchange them.
For what?
For nothing.
Great. He was stealing food from people, right? So, supposing he started again?
We should steal from people?
Maybe just a few eggs from hen coops, like the gossip mentioned. They would, if I put some charcoal there instead.
And their nourishment he turned into ash.
What about his wife and child? No doubt he'd want to avenge their death.
Well, how did they die?
In childbirth.
And when his love turned to rage, the water turned to blood. Nothing too original. But it's tried and tested. If you do it at the baths, everyone will hear of it.
How am I supposed to do that? It might be a bit suspicious if I'm seen walking around with a pail of blood.
No problem. There's a certain potion that will do the trick easily. So, switch eggs for charcoal, switch the meat, color the water in the baths, and switch the rosaries. That ought to do it. I hope so. Of course, if you come up with anything else, don't let me hold you back. Talking to people might give you ideas. Traders, the bailiff.
Well, what if someone sees me in the act?
They mustn't. Otherwise, it'll end up like Sasau all over again. Don't draw attention to yourself, or they'll put two and two together.
Sure. I'll keep my head down. And how will I know if I've succeeded? I doubt it'll be announced on the market square.
I'll be the first to know. They'll come running to me for a remedy, like hens at feeding time. Off you go and raise hell.
But whatever he did, don't you think he deserves some peace?
Dear Henry, after all the poor wretch went through, I'd say he's beyond any peace.
Well, he certainly won't have any as long as I'm carrying his bones around with me.
Ah, but you know who those remains could help.
Help? Who? How?
Me, of course. And I'd pay you a nice price for a revenant's bones.
But there is no revenant.
Not yet. What are you saying? That would be such a waste. Anyway, if someone saw you, the whole game would be up.
Well, supposing I do it later, when the fuss has died down.
All right, if you must. But I don't know what you hope to get out of it.
At least the poor wretch will have peace at last.
Maybe. As long as you bury him in hallowed ground. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
Like in Rattay, maybe?
Well, that's probably the nearest. That gossip-mongering crone would know.
True, I could ask her.
If you must. But for heaven's sake, don't even hint to her what you're up to. Take care.
Chickens. That should be no problem.
Good day to you. Good luck then.
Baked goods fresh from the oven. Come get 'em.
God grant you health.
You look a bit worried, bailiff.
How can I not be? What with the whole village complaining about ghosts?
Ghosts?
An empty grave that they say a revenant crawled out of. They talk of nothing else.
You don't think there's any truth to it?
No, it's nothing but old wives' tales.
But how come the grave is empty?
You don't need any magic to dig up a grave. A spade will do.
But why would anyone do that? Surely no God-fearing Christian would dig up the grave of some poor soul who hasn't even got the piece of hallowed ground to rest in.
A God-fearing Christian? No.
So you suspect someone?
Could be. There's been a band of good-for-nothing itinerants hanging around recently. They weren't making any trouble, though, so I let them be. But this is going too far.
How do you know it was them?
Who else would it be?
What about the Revenant?
Oh, don't you start. That Revenant of yours is nothing but idle hands doing the devil's work. I'd send them packing myself if I had the time and the men.
A hero is what you need for a job like that. If you could find one.
From what I hear, you could be just the man for the job.
Oh, since you put it like that.
Good. But no bloodshed, please. Just send them packing.
Where can I find them?
Last I heard, they were a bit away from the village, across the river by the old mine.
Are they armed?
As much as any thief. Who isn't these days?
Who are these people?
Just some itinerants who'd rather roam the roads than do an honest day's work. They're not cutthroats, though, just petty thieves and beggars.
What are they doing here?
Damned if I know. Oh.
That's all I need to know. I'll get going.
Good luck. Goodbye.
Powder made of the bones of St. Thomas.
Hey!
Good health to you.
Good wife.
Yes, lad.
You know, I can't stop thinking about what happened to that poor wretch.
Have you no consideration for a poor old woman?
It might relieve you to talk to someone.
Relieve me from what?
Well, guilt.
Guilt? Why should I feel guilty?
Well, clearly something weighs heavy on your soul, just like the other villagers. The older ones. And I'd say it's connected to that empty grave. Well, that wretch returns as a revenant, and no one does anything. It's not just fear, but more like everyone is expecting some punishment that was bound to come one day.
Oh, you might be right. Maybe it would give me some peace in my old age to finally tell the whole story. Several people from the village went to have it out with Lev, but he grabbed an axe and drove them off. He swore if anyone came near him, he'd burn their house down. Then he buried his wife and child in the meadows beyond Ledetchko. I saw him carving 3 statues there.
Lev, you say his name was? What kind of statues?
There's 3 roughly carved beams there, each with a human face, except the smallest, which has no face at all.
For the stillborn child, I suppose. What happened then?
Nothing. He went back to his work, but never spoke to the villagers again. He'd even go all the way to Ratte for food, rather than talk to anyone here.
So he died alone in the end?
Actually, it was the villagers. It was us that killed him.
What? Just on account of his stealing?
No. Not long after, fires started springing up in the village. And when the first house burned down, the folk were very angry.
And of course suspicion fell on Lev.
Everyone was dead certain it was him. They all remembered his words. Do you know how arsonists are punished, lad?
No, I don't.
By burning on the pyre. But no one wanted to waste time with the law. We just went to his house at night, smashed in the door and windows, and threw lighting torches inside. And that was the end of him. But the fires didn't stop.
So he was innocent?
He was.
Well, I won't condemn you for it. It's for God to judge, but... may he forgive you for it.
Thanks, lad. I pray every day for forgiveness, and it's a weight off my shoulders to tell someone.
Good luck then.
bloody tears of St. James Madonna. Greetings.
What's the recipe for that potion you were talking about?
You mean for...
Well,
Pay close attention now.
I'm all ears.
How love turned to bloodshed. What? He fell in love with a... But ain't there...
I thought... What on earth for?
So I don't forget it.
All right.
I can't remember.
Great. So...
You'll figure it out, my loyal apprentice. I remember there are 3 plants in the story, but that's about all. But I know it was a simple recipe. It should be enough to grind the ingredients and brew them together for one turn. So, all you have to do is work out what the ingredients are from the story.
Sure. Why make things simple if you can complicate them? What about the dead man's remains?
You still have them?
No, you said to keep them.
I'll buy them from you.
What on earth for?
The bones of a revenant. Those can be valuable goods.
All right.
Splendid. It's not the Holy Grail. See you later.
About that recipe.
Yes. Take care. Rare spices and tinctures, magical elixirs and amulets, miraculous ointments.
Ale!
There, satisfied?